Hey guys, I'm here. Welcome back to another Five Nights at Freddy's 3 theory. Now this theory is actually going to be on, will Five Nights at Freddy's 3 actually take place in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, you know, the same place? Well, I've gotten an idea that this may be the case, and you might actually possibly play as Phone Guy. So let me get right to this. So as we already know, let's just say that Night 7 doesn't count. Let's say that Night 7 has nothing to do with the storyline, even though I think personally it does. But let's just say it doesn't. This theory is actually proven to have a lot of things that might actually correlate to Five Nights at Freddy's 3. So as you all know, Five Nights at Freddy's 1 is the last game so far of what we know of, since the toy animatronics are obviously announced and stuff. But let's just say this. The first game that we know is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. The second game in the timeline would be Five Nights at Freddy's 3, because the animatronics are all mangled up. And the last in the timeline would be Five Nights at Freddy's 1. So it's kind of a mixed match. It's not like backwards order. It's a little bit of a mixed match. But anyways, so in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, what I speculate from this is maybe you actually play as Phone Guy. Now the reason why I say this is actually because the place gets shut down as Phone Guy says he's gonna take the initiative to work for you, take your night shift. Now the thing is though, is in Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Phone Guy actually does in fact say that he did take the night shift before you, and he does get killed. But keep in mind, he gets killed by obviously one of the original Five Nights at Freddy's characters. You can tell this from Golden Freddy's scream, which, if you guys don't know, Golden Freddy can't be an hallucination, because if it's one thing about hallucinations, you don't hear them over a phone, and people definitely don't die from hallucinations. Whether Phone Guy hallucinated Golden Freddy 2, you don't hear that over a phone. Anyways, with that being said, say Golden Freddy, I personally think he's a ghost, killed him, and that can actually lead up to the fact that the place did take place in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, the same place. And if you don't believe me, then what about the fact that Freddy plays his Toreador March? Don't know why that took so long to say. Anyways, yeah, none of the other animatronics actually play that. So I figure that's pretty interesting, actually. If you take into account that, as I just stated, the Toreador March does play on the phone call, which means that it does in fact take place in the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 place. Now, I'm not sure exactly if the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 newspaper could even be a new newspaper, for all we know. For all we know, that Mike Smith could have just been looking through his, the papers and looking through jobs. It could have been an old paper from maybe a couple weeks old, because whether a place is new or not, a restaurant it would still be new for a couple months, like 1 or 2 or 3 months. It would still be pretty new, possibly even more than that. So the fact that it's a new place doesn't really match up too, considering the fact that if you think about it, why would it be a new place if Foxy is dismantled and out of order? So obviously you don't work at the very start of Five Nights at Freddy's when the place opens up. That's a given right there, because Foxy is out of order. It's not working. It's broken down. It's torn apart a bit. Why would it be torn apart? Give it some time. It can get torn apart either by the children, just like Mangle did. For whatever reason, the children just love Foxy and just tear it apart so much because of how much they use it. So yeah, personally, I think Five Nights at Freddy's, maybe Five Nights at Freddy's 3, we will play as Phone Guy, and maybe we'll actually see the true way of how Phone Guy died. Who knows, there might skip to a cutscene where you actually, play as Phone Guy. Maybe you leave messages, instead of you actually receiving calls from Phone Guy, it's the same messages from Five Nights at Freddy's 1, but instead of you actually getting the messages, you're the one giving the messages. So you actually get to play as Phone Guy. I thought that it's a pretty interesting theory, and this is actually very, very likely. It's backed up by so much evidence, and I really feel like that this could be possibly true. Comment down below, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that you'll play as Phone Guy in Five Nights at Freddy's 3? And yeah, anyways guys, I'll see you all next time, and peace out.